Her name is Artemisia, Queen of Caria, ruler of Halicarnassus, commander of 5 ships. And now, an Athenian warship is hunting her. There is no open water ahead, no easy turn, no safe command. In front of her is not an enemy vessel but an allied ship from Calinda, part of the same Persian fleet. For a breath, the world narrows to one decision. If she hesitates, she dies. If she turns, she is captured. If she attacks, she betrays her own side. Artemisia gives the order. Her ship surges forward. The bronze ram strikes. The allied ship breaks open and sinks into the sea. The Athenian pursuer sees it happen and stops. He thinks Artemisia must be fighting for Greece. He lets her go. And from the shore, Xerxes sees only the smoke, the crash, the sinking vessel, and believes Artemisia has destroyed an enemy. The woman he was told to doubt has just survived in the most ruthless way possible. It was Greek in language, Carian in blood, Persian in politics, a place where identity was never simple. After her husband's death, Artemisia held power in her own name. She was not a decoration beside a throne. She was the throne. And that made her dangerous. In a world where men measured authority by armies, lineage, and noise, Artemisia built hers through judgment. She governed islands, commanded ships, and knew the sea not as a symbol of glory, but as a living force, narrow channels, hidden winds, shallow waters, panic, timing. Then Xerxes came west. The Persian Empire moved like a continent in motion. Soldiers from distant lands, horses, archers, engineers, ships, banners, gold, and royal command. Greece was to be crushed, and the sea would carry part of that ambition. Artemisia joined Xerxes not as a silent subject, but as a naval commander. 5 ships under her command, 5 ships in a fleet filled with men who likely believed they deserved more attention than she did. But Xerxes listened to her. That alone tells us something. Because Artemisia's power was not based on flattery, it came from usefulness. She understood risk, she understood men, and she understood that pride, when placed inside a war council, can become more dangerous than the enemy. Before the battle, Xerxes called his commanders together. The question was simple. Should the Persian fleet attack the Greeks at Salamis? Most said yes. Of course they did. They had numbers, they had royal pressure, they had the confidence of empire. To advise caution in that room was to sound weak. To speak against battle was to stand against momentum itself. Then Artemisia spoke. She advised Xerxes not to fight at sea. Not here, not now. The Greeks were desperate, but dangerous. Their ships were better suited to the narrow waters. Their sailors knew the channels. Persia had already taken Athens. Time could do what swords did not need to do. Hold the land, control the pressure, let the Greek alliance crack. It was not cowardice. It was strategy. But empires are often deaf at the exact moment they most need to listen. Xerxes respected her words, but ignored them. And so the fleet moved into Salamis. At first, it must have looked magnificent. Persian ships filling the water, banners raised, commanders ready to deliver the victory their king expected. But the strait was narrow. Too narrow for such a great fleet to breathe. According to Herodotus, the Athenians had placed a reward on her capture. To them, she was not only an enemy commander, she was an insult. A woman leading ships against Greece. A queen fighting under the Persian king. Her presence turned politics into humiliation. So, when an Athenian ship saw her, it pursued. This is where her story becomes uncomfortable. Because Artemisia's most famous decision was not clean. It was not noble in the simple way stories like to be noble. It was survival. She saw the allied Calindian ship ahead. She saw the enemy behind. In that instant, she chose life, command, and reputation over loyalty to the vessel in front of her. The ram struck. The ship sank. And Artemisia escaped. Was it betrayal? Was it brilliance? Was it both? That is what makes the moment unforgettable. Leadership in war is not always made of speeches and flags. Sometimes it is made in one terrible second, when every choice carries blood. From the shore, Xerxes watched and misunderstood. He believed she had destroyed a Greek ship, and in the bitter irony of Salamis, while many of his male commanders failed inside the battle they had encouraged, Artemisia appeared fearless. The king is said to have praised her above the men around him. The female commander many had doubted now appeared more capable than those who had pushed hardest for battle. After the disaster, Xerxes needed advice again. This time, Artemisia's voice carried the weight of proof. She advised retreat, not collapse, not panic, but preservation. The empire had lost at sea. The king himself should return to Asia, while others continued the campaign. It was not the advice of someone chasing glory. It was the advice of someone who understood that survival is sometimes the highest form of strategy. Later, Artemisia escorted some of Xerxes' sons to Ephesus. Then, like a ship disappearing beyond the horizon, she fades from the firm record of history. No grand death scene, no final speech, no clear tomb, only silence. But perhaps that silence is fitting, because Artemisia's legacy is not built on how she died. It is built on how she saw. She saw that confidence could become a trap. She saw that geography could defeat numbers. She saw that the loudest commanders were not always the wisest. And when the world narrowed around her, she made a decision no one forgot. And this time, the room sounded different. Before Salamis, Artemisia had been one voice among many. After Salamis, she was one of the few whose judgment had survived the battle. The commanders who had demanded action had delivered disaster. The woman who had urged caution had been proven right, because Artemisia's legacy is not built on how she died. If this story moved you, there are more like it on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.